Welcome back to Tour Truck Tuesday, and this week I find myself in Phoenix. I've headed out to the desert to get a golf lesson with no other than Martin Chuck. Martin Chuck is one of the top coaches in America. He's also the founder of Tour Striker. Some of the best players in the world like Cameron Smith or Hideki Matsuyama or Justin Rose all benefit from these great products that Martin has created. This is no ordinary golf lesson, so be sure to watch all the way through to the end because the nuggets and the onions keep flowing. Martin, I can't thank you enough for everything that you gave me in this lesson.
What club you got in your hands, buddy?
Just an 8.
Okay, perfect. How'd that feel?
Good, still a little stiff, but good.
Okay. So nice speed, 87.5, ball speed 112. Baby draw spin axis, normalized golf ball flight 154.
Yeah, and that's an 8, so that would be about right, I'd say, for that effort.
Yeah, 5 yards bounce and spin, height's 107, so a lot of good stuff. Give me a couple more. Okay. So, push draw bias, is that what you like to see, or talk to me?
Yeah, I do like to see that.
Hit a couple more. You can bump around that T-square where you need it.
There's a lot of telling things that have been happening recently, just trying to get golf game back to where I don't hit as many balls as I used to.
Yeah.
And I know a lot about what I do, and I think I know why I do it, and there's one thing I would love to fix. And that was the whole purpose when I was making this trip. I wanted to get your opinion on that one thing. But push draws like that, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your path is a little bit inside out. As this relates to your numbers, I mean, your numbers are, your path is nice. It's mildly inside out. Your face is a little bit square sometimes for a mild pull. But otherwise, when I look at this action, club gets a little across, right? So when I take you to this point, so this isn't a very long swing. I mean, I'd say it's about stock neutral for where a tour player would be, right? So when it gets a little across from there, that club can zip a little bit inside out from time to time, produce something a little on the hooky side. So when I watch this, I go, darn good golf swing. As a coach, could I maybe get him stood up a tick? Could I get the golf club into a space where if we go further down the coaching role rather than the technique role, is this ball tend to zip a bit more left than you want it to from time to time on the golf course? Or does it stay out to right field more than you want it to on the golf course? Because when I look at this, the only thing that I see that might make me go, is this. Shorter swing, meaning, as you start to go back and you get to P4, as it gets just fractionally crossed up, just a little bit, right?
Yep.
Club's mass might back up and go behind you a little bit more than you want to, and the club might flash and you might hit a few more hooks than you want to.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I see this, I'm like, very good golf swing. Now, as a player trying to find his golf ball in play more often than not, could we be a little bit more to where this, if you try to hit it hard, won't dump behind you a bit, okay?
Yeah.
So, and then I would say to you, okay, maybe a little bit on the reachy, squatty side, could be slightly, a little bit more dynamic balance over your feet.
Yeah.
So in a quick little snapshot, watching you hit 5 balls, looking at the numbers look good.
Yeah.
Now, what does the player want to feel? Is it just tight draws?
Yeah.
When you get nervous, does that club dump behind you a bit too much?
Yeah.
So this is where the coach and the student kind of work together to say, what is it we're trying to work toward?
Okay.
Okay, because I don't know your emotional state when you play.
Yeah.
But here's
Unstable.
the thing too. Unstable. Right? But here's the thing, so lessons are different, right? I have lots of people come in here. I'm literally teaching them how to put nice hands on a club.
Yeah.
I'm showing them how to walk into a golf ball. You come in flushing it, okay?
Yeah.
Push draw, gorgeous, maybe baby pulls. I'm like, damn, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's as good as anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, except maybe some whippersnapper might be 6 miles an hour faster than you.
Yeah.
Okay, but
it is reality. I get it.
It is, right? You got a wee few grays in there.
Yeah, I thought that was grass. I have, yeah.
Is that grass? This whole relationship of center of mass, how it plays to the hands.
Yeah.
And I love when I get a slicer, I'll put him here. And sometimes when I get a guy that's maybe a little bit as fast as you are, which is pretty fast, that can get going a little dumpy underneath, and that can cause a bit of problems.
Okay.
So that's a visual I have.
Yeah.
Now, I have no idea why you're here other than to take a little lesson, but that's what I'm seeing. So tell me.
So, for you guys watching this, what I wanted to achieve from this, I wanted desperately, and people know this from my YouTube channel, I will literally regurgitate information too quickly. So I've desperately tried so hard not to say anything, but I think the brilliance is in 5 swings, as you've seen, and you've pretty much laid out the things that I've worked with on for a long time. The fear is a miss left. You dive into the equipment world, people that follow me know that I will build a driver with hot melt, which people have become connected to in the toe, because then it promotes the miss right or gets rid of the draw. As the data's gone on that I've kept and worked closely now with launch monitors, with clip data, I'm seeing that the miss right is far more prominent than my mind would tell me. So on a golf course, which I kept coming back and looking at the tee alignment, kept going into this. I noticed this was a little lower feet than ball.
Yeah,
so I was like, okay, for me, this is going to be a draw. But it was music to my ears when you talked about push draw. So again, just to explain it for those watching, path more to the right. And you're saying dump the club behind you, because the thing that I hate, P6 halfway down, club is
with
there
you, it's been there
a lot.
Okay, so
which is why, with what brought me on this journey, I've been hammering smart ball to get me here more, to try and get more laid off. Everything you've already said. But then, Martin, and this is again, all paths lead you right here. This has then become miss right of the ball picker. Under pressure. Fear, you know, playing these canyon courses in San Diego, maybe playing a stroke play thing, and you know, I'll be honest as well, there's a reputation that comes once you put yourself out there publicly to talk about golf. There's a reputation that comes, and you need to play well. And if it's tight and narrow, instead of thinking about the task in hand, I'll be thinking about the content, which is a challenge for me and stuff I'm trying to work through, if I'm being honest with you and vulnerable about it.
No, I'm the same way. I've been a coach out there a long time. I play in
You want to play well.
People go, oh, Martin shot 78 today. You know what?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it's the best score I could have shot that day. See my point?
Yeah.
So I don't have shame in my score, because I tell every student, I say, and I've also shot some 60-somethings. So am I a way better dude that day than I was when I shot 78? Or can you make your choice? Can you choose your routine? Can you go and execute like a woman, like a man? Be proud of that moment, execute the shot, right?
Play the game.
The outcome is the outcome, man, okay? Now, as a coach-student relationship, you got a very good golf swing. We can talk as a coach now, hey, when you get in the canyon course and there's a situation there, there's a couple of feels that a lot of good players will go to. They've got their kind of not optimized, squeezer. Like it goes out there 275, 280 for your speed, it'll be fine. It's not your par 5, let her rip, high bomb.
100%.
See what I mean?
That's the journey I'm on.
Yeah, so if you want to, playing the game, right? Learning how to play when you're puking, that's beautiful. Learn how to play. Recognize your state. Are you freaking? Good. I'm freaking out. That's fantastic.
So it's low squeeze cut.
Because if I'm not if I'm not freaking out, then I'm not alive. So as a coach, I want you to be alive. I want you to be like, let's go. I got a squeezy fade here. Perfect. Maybe you nut it and it goes to it. It's perfect shot. Great shot, Trotty. Because everybody knows. I mean, I'd love to say you could send a high draw down every fairway every single time. That's lying, because we're not in the state to do that every time.
That's been a massive thing for me that I've been trying to reconnect with, as I haven't played as much. And again, Martin hits on it exactly. So I want to talk about, because the conversations lead in there. You coach all these students who come here from far and wide. How much is based on the technique, and then how much is based on playing the game? Like, where do you separate between the two?
So the camp basically like this: meet and greet for breakfast. Okay, test them out real quick. 3D club swing analysis on gears, a little bit of TrackMan, a couple 2D videos. We use Sportsbox too, real quick. So we can see super fast creating an argument. Okay, so does this golfer have this? Do they have this offsetting event that lets them have this potential for power? Okay, most people don't. So we try to teach them this dynamic event that does that. Do they have a grip that lets the face behave in a manner that doesn't make them have a massive compensation? So they're going to deliver a wide open face. Argument for you to be a better golfer might be a club face thing. I don't have to teach you how to grip it. These people I do, for the most part. I'm telling you, for your viewers, you're sitting there, you probably have a bad grip.
Yeah.
Because 17 out of 20 people do.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's a small percentage of people that'll take great care to put their hands on. And that, change your grip, lose a friend kind of thing. People hate changing their grip, but they have to in many cases. Like, let's get their hands on nice so that they can articulate their wrists in a way that the club can behave nicely. Like, you hated this. Okay, well, I didn't see that today, and I've watched your social media, but I haven't, I just enjoy your personality,
Yeah.
so I watch a bit of it.
This keeps, the problem is, and we're talking between here and here,
Right.
and I'm like losing sleep over it.
Okay.
It's like, that's how big of a deal it's become when you stand on shots where there's trouble left, and then it's like, okay, I'm here, and then this way, and I'm always blaming that.
Yeah.
And it's like, just keep working on it. And it seems like an endless keep working on. And then when you look at it on swing, you can get it more laid off. You can get it nice here. But it's, oh, look, it's there again.
See, this is where the coach-student conversation comes into play, right? So now I kind of get it a little bit more. Slicer move is going to be zippity-doo-dah over here. All this momentum is going this way, and then it's here, and they back out of it. There's nothing on it, and they hit this weak fade. So then the first thing I do with a big-time slicer is I'll get them to get it deep, stand it way up, so that they have this sensation.
Matthew Wolff.
Totally. Matthew Wolff, Jim Furyk, tons of guys. A lot of great coaches kind of get people. Like Ledbetter had his A swing. George Genkus had a lot of, club mass over here, so it could go behind the handle.
But you're letting the athlete, no matter what level turns up for you, because you get a lot of amateurs, you're letting them figure out based on a couple of pointers.
Yeah, so anyway, long answer to your simple question was, there's a technique component, and then there's a really big component on and being okay. I always say you're not going to die when you hit a golf shot. You might feel a little bit of you died, but you're not going to die. Okay, you're going to have a good, indifferent, or poor result. Your dog doesn't care, nobody cares. Really, nobody cares. Now, can you live with the fact that you're going to have one of three outcomes, and then man up and go through your routine and accept the outcome?
Brilliant, yeah.
It's not, it's like so people are so terrified of the outcome, they just can't go through the correct process.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, routine's a huge part of the golf school. In fact, I give you a keychain, like a silly keychain when you pass a routine test. I make people watch this thing called Tiger 2000. Scott Fawcett did this amazing video. Tiger wins the 2000 US Open by 15 shots. Fawcett's video illustrates and highlights the Zen-like routine of every time he walked into a golf ball. He timed every time he walked in. Preceding the walk-in was different. Like, he might have taken one or two little baby practice swings, maybe a couple big rips, maybe there was a delay and he had to take some whatever, okay? Yeah. But from the moment he stood back behind the golf ball and took one step, that's when Fawcett started the timer. Yeah. From the time the club went, that was like 13.2, 13.5. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying be that anal, but I'm saying once you make your mind up that you're going to hit a shot, hit the bloody shot you intend to hit. Yeah. The outcome may not be perfect, but it might be.
So there's a Faldo one, isn't there, with John Cook, 91 Murfield Open Championship that he won, and it was the same deal. I think it was like
really?
18.1 seconds. From the moment he went to the club next to Fanny Sunerson and put his fingers on it to hit in the shot.
It was 18.
I think it was 18.1 and 19.1.
I haven't seen that, but that would elaborate for him to walk into the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit different.
Same deal. And then they do him on the first hole, first day, to that second shot, long iron, he hit into 18, when he'd had 18 pars to win it. And it's the patience of it. These are all things like my traits. No patience when I play golf, trying to birdie every hole. Mm-hmm. That was always a killer for me. And then just, not things that I work on again now, like pulling old psychology books out just to routine and deal with the outcome.
Yeah.
Because the older you get, the more of a library you have, and sometimes the library has some negative stuff in it rather than positive stuff.
Oh, it's got tons of negative stuff in it.
Which I realise from standing here now, having a fear of left, that right has become the fear.
So, no, I get you. And so, safe to say, when a good player comes to a coach, let's pick a tour player. Just give me a name.
Current, on tour now.
Anybody.
So let's go with Adam Scott.
Okay, Adam Scott. Hey, Martin Chuck, nice to meet you. Hey, Adam, nice to meet you. I've admired you for years. I love the way you swing a golf club. Oh, thanks, but I'm actually here to talk to you about that. Do you think I'm going to rebuild Adam Scott's golf swing? No, of course not. I might say to him, hey, let's look at your range of motion now that you're not 28 anymore. Let's look at a couple things that can help you score better, landing angle, maybe some spin. Might come to, hey, let me pull in your Tour Tech guy for a second. Make sure landing angles are right, spin numbers are correct. Okay, let's talk about what fears you have on the golf course. Let's get in the cart. Let's go to a hole right now. Let me see you tee up a couple.
Yeah.
You see my point?
Yeah.
Different coaching, different state, right?
So then if you get a kid, say you get Morikawa, who's got full range of motion, no kids, loads of time.
Yeah.
Is that conversation different?
Well, that conversation, like say for example, he sought me out and I'm like, okay, here's the guy who developed this amazing game with this crazy weak left hand and this impact condition that's, am I going to go even remotely close to messing with that? Not in a million years am I going to do that, right? So he's developed a sequence of events, not too unlike, say, Rahm, who has this. And now if he was my junior golfer that I brought up from, maybe nobody knows who his name is now. Maybe he's some doctor or lawyer or something like that. He'd be something successful, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Right? But, Rick Sessinghouse is his coach, and Rick probably had enough sense to go, this guy's beating everybody. I'm not going to mess with this really weak left wrist. And the way he gets his impact alignments are gorgeous. If he came to me, I'd be apprehensive to mess with that, right? But I would start to say, okay, what is the club ball turf relationship creating outcomes he doesn't like? Right? Is he freaking out in the situation? There's a coach. Is it a bit of a technique piece that we can brush up on? Yeah. See, to me, there's always the three things. Okay, there's technique. Okay, I call it trickery and I call it a test. So technique is, okay, maybe you need a little smart balling. Like a lot of guys love warming up with it on tour. Fantastic. You see Rory with a little clicker now, being aware of his wrist conditions. Okay, that's been around forever. Everybody's got their little technique totem that they grab onto. Then it's like, okay, can you be playful again? Like you like hitting push draws, great. I'm trying to think of the Texan, gosh, his name escapes me. So he drew every ball when he played golf. But you know what he did when he practiced? He faded every ball.
Just to keep himself on the...
Yeah, he tried to stay on the teeter-totter a bit, right?
Yeah.
So with you, I'd be like, okay, here's your practice routine. What's your bit of technique for 15, 20 minutes? Okay, what's your trickery for 15 or 20 minutes? And then now let's have a test. So now there's 45 minutes, 15 minutes for water, check your messages, whatever. Do it again. Okay, that's enough, 2 of those sessions, okay? Then it's like, hey, what's that called? Short game. Oh yeah, chip, putt, pitch, grind 6-footers, get up and down from the bunker, basic chip shot, tricky chip shot, poor lie chip shot, hit it off a thin lie over a bunker, right?
Yeah.
So you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
And so
skills that enable you to play the game.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's not, I think everybody's just too dialed into hitting balls. I hate it. I hate hitting balls now. I'll hit a few, I'll hit maybe 30. And then I'm like bored out of my mind. I'd way rather chip and putt.
Yeah.
Way rather get in a bunker. Oh, you know what I really love to do? Is hit fairway bunker shots.
Yeah.
It's my favorite practice because it's harder.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So like watching you, I know we're kind of on a rant here, but watching you, it's like, okay, very good golf swing. Numbers look really good. It's interesting now, the club's in a more appealing place for you, which it is, looks really good. If this was where you were, right? The club's definitely exiting from here. Then I'd say, okay, club's behind the hands. You like that as a player, perfect. Let's make sure you're unwinding within your left foot a little bit.
Okay, good. That was the next.
You see my point?
Yeah.
Because like Darren Clark's an old friend of mine, right? So Derek could just like go beat up a bar if he wanted to because he hits overdraws, and so he just kind of gets his weight, goes too much on top of his lead foot, pushes his path too much to the right, it's going to hook every ball. Versus unwinding a little bit more within his foot, changes his hula hoop a little bit to take the inside out path out. Now he hits it good again.
Yeah. So when you do that, so hula hoop being the path, and when you change the path and you get more of the rotation, how do you stop the club from going out this way more? Like Rosie talks about it, doesn't he, on social media about, he did something for the PGA Tour about if the head is on behind a boat and the boat is pulling the jet ski, centrifugal force pushes the club out. So how do I ensure I get more in if I'm going to turn better?
So
and why is the right I think comes from being this way and then backing up?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So it's like, my thing is, if you get the weight in a place, and this is where, again, every slicer I'm going to put here, somebody who hits hooks that likes to feel this, they have to unwind a little bit more before they get too much on top of their lead side, or they're going to have too much rightward path. Obviously, to avoid missing left, the club face can't be square, right? I mean, I know it sounds stupid, but the face has to be pointed to the right when you hit a golf ball.
Yeah.
So you start looking at this and you say, all right, there's my club face at address. And a lot of people don't know this. So I'll say, okay, here's address and there's impact. Here's address, there's impact. They're like, what do you mean? How's that impact? Well, I'm saying, well, when that's loaded with some unwinding, now that face is not it's pointed to the right, right? So it looks really shut, but is it? Not when it's in a state of being loaded. And is that how good, do good players have that sense? Poor players are trying to do all kinds of wappy stuff.
Again, I know it was one of your things, the plane mate. There's another thing.
David Woods
led
David
me
Woods
here,
and I were
though.
partners on that. Yeah.
I was big time this on the plane mate.
Yeah.
So I spent almost a summer trying to feel this.
Sure.
But I felt like I could cheat it a bit because if the head's out here.
Oh, you could. 100%, man. Like I don't know.
That just shows that you're rotating, right?
Right. But is there any really perfect training aid? I mean, smart ball is probably the dumbest, simplest thing of all.
But it's super efficient.
Yeah, because if you can manage, and I always say to people, they always say, why does that help people? I say, well, if you can manage your arms, you're also managing your wrists, right? So if your arms are a little bit more organized, your wrists are a bit more organized. And then I always say, whatever you wind up, you got to unwind.
Yeah.
So if you wind up a little chaos, good luck unwinding chaos, right? So if just, you give up a little range of motion sometimes. Maybe you give up a mile or 2, 3 of club head speed, but your reliability getting the club on the ball is way up.
Yeah.
Hit some. Let's talk about it.
So situation then for you already, I think it's similar. You'd be like, okay, try and get a little closer to it.
Yeah, I would just say, just being, I'd say you'd feel a little taller. There you go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe a little closer to it. That looks perfect to me.
Okay.
And so.
And then backswing wise, laid off a bit.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't just, again, good player. I wouldn't say lay it off. I'd say be aware of this sensation. If it gets, we're having this like coach-teacher-student relationship right now, okay?
Yeah.
I'd say, okay, if you get in a situation where you start feeling like the ball's squirting out to right field and it's a challenge for you, okay, I would say then be mindful of where this golf club, if the lead arm gets deep and the mass gets up, which is good, when you change direction, it falls behind the hands. That's good. You like that now because that's not there for you.
Have you seen good players from here? Great players from here?
Yeah, but you know what they have to do? They're always left, and they're usually take deep divots. What's the Australian guy who won it?
Craig Parry.
Craig Parry. Very good player, right? Amazing.
But deep divots and left.
Of course. And how about guys with left arms that are out late that have to,
That's me a little bit.
You know what I mean?
But if you get closer to the ball, then this gap here has got to go.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go on. You were saying if there's junk on the right, just be aware of cross the line is going to create this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to avoid over there, what swing path helps you avoid over there?
Yeah.
For a good player, because you're never going to have a wide open face. You're too good for that.
Yeah.
See my point?
Yeah.
Now,
Squeeze
if you're a
cut,
bad
that's
player,
back to our conversation.
Yeah, if you're a bad player,
Yeah.
If you want to avoid hitting it over there, play the ball forward in your stance, right? So the more forward it is, the more naturally left the path is going to be.
Because of the hula hoop.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right? So the ball is more forward. And then in your eye line, you're like, this ball's going to spit out left and hopefully fade a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, and since it's forward, you're going to hit down on it.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks since the ball's forward, here's something interesting. Let me step in. So if I have a ball this forward, okay, and I said, how high can I hit that ball, right? So if I hit this, so is that going to go really high? That's just a pulley fade. So that's a ball way forward of any iron shot. That's a path that's got to be left. Now, as a good player, are you going to roll that face over? Not in a million years. Okay, So I've had a lot of college players come out to me and say, man, it was really windy at the last tournament. I was playing the ball back and I was hooking it. And I'll say, of course you were hooking it, because you're hitting this ball that's back in your stance. So they've got this golf ball back here and they're trying to play this knockdown. Now they're hitting it with some kind of squarish face with too much excessive path. Maybe they got the flight they wanted, but now they can't control the curve. And I'm like, hey, let's play that sort of knockdown from here's kind of an exaggerated forward ball location, because now you can kind of step on top of this thing a bit. And so there's a ball flight that thing, you're not going to lose that ball flight. It's not going to curve too much. Because it's like, as a good player, you're not going to roll that face over with that forward ball location. It's kind of like your insurance.
You are going to have to move onto it though.
Yeah.
So trust your instinct as a player, basically.
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, typically when you get a guy like you or one of those college players that comes out, I'd say that changes their intent and understanding of kind of controlling their golf ball and breeze real fast.
Yeah.
And like, ooh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And then they have this sense of like covered and left and then low
Yeah.
little chasey things.
Yeah.
Now, it's no way to play a lot of golf, but it's survival
In
when the
those
elements
conditions,
are miserable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's nice out, I want you hitting it sky high and
Yeah.
dropping down like a,
Yeah.
yeah.
So stand a bit taller, a little
Yeah.
bit closer.
Yeah. So yeah, hit another one. So setup can't be any better than that. Okay. So there's the one you hate, right?
Yeah,
There's
can't stand.
There's that like.
That's a
pulley.
late shallow to try and strike it, and it's a poor strike.
Okay. So here's like watching this too, like going back, because it's always the same thing with me. Like I would say to you, when you set up to it, can you avoid potentially getting the handle low?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Can you go tap, 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 never really ground it?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of find your happy place in space. Here's why I'd say that is like the ball, there's no guarantee the ball is going to be at the soles of your feet. The ball could be up 5 inches below your soles of your feet. Your soles are going to be canted one way or the other. But my point is, if you can always find your radius in space, Trotty, to me that's more reliable than something where the club is on the ground and then maybe we have some different sort of angle every single time. So if we put our good hands on it, waggle it, it's always kind of, I'm finding my radius without the club really grounded. This is Knudsen lesson 101 when I was a kid. The club never was to touch the ground, and we listened to him when we did it. Driver, irons, never. It could go like this, bend the grass a bit, but it never set to a place where there was a possibility of a different angle.
Okay. So then you're controlling the low point.
A little bit.
Okay. I'm with you.
You know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I watch that and I go, I'd be like, all right, can you challenge yourself to get set? Go ahead, get ready to go. Good, keep the club kind of in this tap space, never on the ground though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'd say, I want to be able to put a business card underneath there is about all.
Just in control of the
right
low
there.
point. Yeah, okay.
So maybe a half a groove skinny, but perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be stoked with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an 8 iron, but it's a nice first 25 shots.
It's not a thick divot.
No.
Right? So I always feel like I could run a business card right underneath this.
Yeah.
And always last look, take one look, ball go. Really good. I want your last look to be like target ball go.
I've been spending way too long over the ball.
Looking at the ball?
1,000 swing thoughts, like stay centered because I get a little bit off of it here, and then the most recent one is turn, and just losing thought of the target, especially with wedges.
And
terrible wedge
so
play.
your viewership, okay, so everybody's got some sort of hitting net now, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they've got some way to measure balls, like
Yeah.
ball flight and stuff. And I think that's been a bit of a disease for golf.
Yeah.
Because people are like, I had one of my students too, and I even tell them all this. I say, if you're hitting into a net right in front of you, hit into the net, 1,000, holster the club, use your imagination, see the ball flying beautifully, land, done. Even if it just went tunk, tunk, and
Yeah.
hit a screen right here.
Yeah.
Because if all we're doing is hitting, and there's none of that timing of like watching it kind of go up in the air. And even if you know you hooked it because it felt toey, or maybe it hung because you heeled it a little bit, you still got to use your imagination if you're in a broom hitting into a screen or hitting into a net. Like you got to, be part of that. That's why I think some of the better ones now, they have the ball tracer.
Yeah.
And
Like a sim.
At least it keeps you in tune with the ball stopping rather than just hitting into a net and watching it come down.
Yeah. So you wouldn't change the feels in the backswing. Yeah, do a bit of work with the smart ball. That's one thing.
Give me one more. Show me that waggle, club barely off the ground. But I want last look and then go. Okay. You can't really draw it up much better than this. Now, The swing's getting a little longer now. You're maybe a bit more warmed up. The club's mass goes behind you. There's no way that that's outside the hands. You see my point?
Yeah,
There's no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the gap between left arm and left chest?
You know, like I'm loving where this is coming out. I got no issue with this. I'm looking at the left glute clearing beautifully. Eye line's spot on. You know, at the exit's really good.
No early extension.
Dude, it's as good as it gets right here.
So sometimes I'll stand up on it, the head will come off the wall sort of thing and out of posture.
You know,
So it's moving back a bit.
Just
from
a
the
bit, but I could show you 100 guys that make a living that don't look as good as you. See my point?
Yeah.
Like it's like you don't let progress, like perfection be the problem, the stops
game.
progress, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so what's also do you know who Mike Abbott is? Very good coach from Dallas.
Yeah.
Didn't show any tour players a video ever. He would look, but he would never show the player.
Yeah.
Why? Because he didn't want the player fixating on any one particular place. And I tell you what, he helped a lot of dudes because he just got them into kind of a playful feeling of getting better rather than fixating on a picture.
You touched on net. Do you not think the nets have made us fixate? iPhones have made us fixate?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, I didn't have video of my golf swing as a junior. I look back and somebody showed me, one of my buddies sent me a swing of mine from when I was about 17 and I was playing really well. And I looked at the swing now and I went, didn't really like it. Yeah. But I hit it where I was looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most every time I hit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I have one of these at home. So always ball position alignment.
Yeah.
And then distance. What would be your tip to ensure? I mean, for me, I can kind of feel it, get a bit closer to it, stand a bit taller. But what else would be your checkpoint for that?
So to me, I always say this. I would say, you know, you build a house, you build a foundation, then you put the studs up. In golf, you go the other way. So to me, like when you watch Tiger 2000, the video that we coach all the campers on, he's back here, he walks in, he pairs the hands, he adds a waggle. I'm a big fan of teaching a waggle. Feet are sorted together, he tips over, tap, tap, he takes a look, then he settles his feet, another waggle, he takes another look. My big thing is your checklist of things to do in golf should be over by the time you get to the golf ball, not starting. They should be over. Why do we waggle? Golf is a game separated by time. You have to acquaint yourself to every club you use every 5 minutes. Here's what I mean. You tee off at 8 o'clock. Hit your driver. Hey, good drive, Charlie, way to go. We go down there, you got a wedge in your hands. Okay, you hit your wedge. We go to then that's 6 minutes later. You go to the next hole, maybe it's a 5-iron par 3, and you go to the next hole, it's a driver again. You don't hit a driver for 25 minutes. So routine's critical in that how you walk in and waggle a golf club. Like good players just kind of do it. I try to teach newbies how to do it, how to step in, aim the face, take a look. Well, then they're in a position where they can now have a trigger, you know, to hit a shot and have a functional outcome. And then there's this, I always try to, and I didn't do it there, shame on me, you know, let that thing holster, man, put that thing away, get the club out of your hands, then you're done. So there's a routine piece that's to me more important than the technique itself.
Yeah, with everyone as well, not just with better players by the sounds of it. So feel-wise, I mean, it's almost like you'd be sort of saying, chill on it all. It's all okay.
Here, I would say to you, go chip and putt and go play, beat people.
Yeah.
You know what? Think about what a good coach does. They boost people up.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, if you had something wildly wrong, don't you think I'd tell you?
Yeah. So the whole thing about staying centered, again, players get off center, so why worry about it? Or, like, sometimes I look at a swing and I'll be back this way. Okay. Like I used to be. I've worked on it. Yeah, but I don't know why I've worked on it. Some guy told me to work on it.
So watch, like, it's like expansion into impact's freaking gorgeous, okay? Could you recenter a tick? Because why? Because it's like, is the club traveling down into impact perfectly? And impact looks absolutely flipping perfect. Bent right arm, bent right wrist, flat left wrist,
so there's
overtaking.
Just believe in it a bit more. So it's all just manage your game, basically.
Isn't it? I wasn't that good, but I played some good golf just because I was maybe just kind of plotzed along. And I didn't mind making a bogey. Didn't ruin my day. Double bogeys and triple bogeys are silly.
Yeah.
Right? A bogey doesn't bother because you're going to get on a bit of a run. You're going to hit a par 5 and you're going to stuff it on a par 4. You're going to make a 20-footer once in a while.
Yeah. I kind of knew when I was coming here, I was hoping I'd get, for want of a much better description, but this is a compliment, like a full fat, old school meat and potato kind of lesson. And I'd say that this is. It's simple. It's to the point. It's
Well,
because now there's so much out there for people to watch that they can get lost.
Buddy, okay, here's the thing. You show up here, right? You're trotty.
Yep.
Okay. I could put your swing right there, and I could say this dude won $18 million last year playing professional golf.
People wouldn't argue.
They wouldn't know. They just
Craig Parry. You'd stick Craig Parry's swing up, and people
Right.
might not believe it.
Right. But no, they look at your golf swing. That's a damn good golf swing. Okay. So now it's a matter of, all right, and where's he? It's not so much, I've just known him forever. Okay. So we've been friends. He used to have a really jacked up golf swing when we were little. It was funny, but he had this kind of zipped inside, over the top, hang back, face was pretty square. But you know what he was amazing at? Not making bogey. Tenacious. Great short game. Okay. I connected him with Mike Wilson, one of his first formal coaches. They did a great job together for years and years. All I was for Weirzy was just a bit of sense. He'd call me once in a while. We traveled together in the Canadian tour. I'd have a chit chat with him. That's about all. Same with Darren. In your case, it's if you showed up on, like, if this was like a real, I don't know you, and I came out here and I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. You hit it pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your numbers going, all right, good speed, reliable path. The face was nice. The face was a bit square a couple times. Maybe the ball missed a little left, but I'm talking not missing a green.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I really start just making stuff up? Of course not. I build you up, man, because you're good.
Yeah.
I listened to where you came from. Okay. You recognize that your club fizz is in a different spot. I might even get to thinking maybe your camera angle when you videoed was goofy. Who knows?
Piss, yeah.
Now I see a golf swing I really like. Okay. And then it goes from just technique coaching to performance coaching.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, you're more of a not much technique, sorry. Okay, now it's a performance coaching mentality.
Yeah.
Hey, let's learn, let's play.
Yeah.
Let's look at this golf course. Where do you get to bomb it? Okay, where do you get to squeeze it? Maybe where do you hit a 3-wood? Okay, let's look at the golf course. What shots are going to be like, this is the hard par 3 shot. Let's face it. This is Redan. It's 215. I
have to step up here.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the shot where you got to hit a good, 5-iron or 4-iron or something. It's, it's a big shot. You make a par, yay, because that's really a good score, isn't it? And move on.
Yeah. I like it. Final question, I guess, from me.
Yeah.
Swing thoughts.
Swing thoughts.
Where are you at with that?
My last comment was,
look at the target.
Target, ball, hit it. Okay? You're going to have an outcome, good, bad, or indifferent. You're going to have lots of indifferent. Matt Kuchar, brilliant golfer. Sexy to watch? No. Made a lot of money? Absolutely.
One of the best.
Steepy fades all day long. Figured out how to putt.
Yeah.
Great little picture of the golf ball. Figured out a way, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a target game. It's not a stare at the ball game. It's like, look at that, have that picture, because if we know where that is before we swing it, our outcomes are going to be a little bit better. If we lose where that is, and that'll happen to me, I'll get over a golf ball, and then all of a sudden it'll go away. I'm like, oh, I got to get away. I got to get out. I step out. Then I look at the target again. Then I walk in. I'm like, okay, I got it. I got to go. If I don't have it, I don't hit it. If it's not where I think it is, have you ever set up to a shot in the pin and you go, ooh?
Set up to a shot all the time, and it'll be like this. And now I've got into trying to bring like an intermediate target, and I've been hanging out a little bit, talking with Rory. I know he does it a lot, putting for sure. And I'll be like that, and I'll look up and I'll be aiming over here, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then sometimes the worst, because you're trying to make content or you're not in it, I'm doing this and I'm like, I'm gonna hit it anyway.
Right.
Horrendous.
Right. Like content's content. I mean, I'm talking about playing golf.
Yeah. But the two of them are becoming one as the game moves on.
No, I get it. So if you're doing vlogs, I would say, it's fun. I used to do vlogs, like, course vlogs. They're fun because now when Crossfield came over, had a hysterical time with him. Yeah. He's like, hey, do you know who Paige Spranick is? I'm like, no idea. Right now she's like the biggest person in golf, right? And so I played a match. Her and I played Coach Lockie in Crossfield. It was like 48 degrees up at Troon. Yeah. And we had a blast other than the fact it snowed. So course vlogs are great because now, guess what? The world gets to see you play golf. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. And so it's fun pressure actually because, maybe you hit it out of bounds. So guess what? Everybody in the world hits it out of bounds. Yeah. Okay, how do you respond to that? Yeah. You know, can you bring it back in, hit a good shot, move on? That's golf.
Yeah.
You've played enough. You know, I'm just telling you what you already know.
It's a challenge for me. I wouldn't say I'm great at it. I'd say it let me down when I was playing seriously, recovering from bad shots.
Really?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because the process that we've talked about wasn't strong enough. The connection with the target wasn't strong enough because the connection was with the emotion of the bad shot.
So, I mean...
Because I've hit millions of great shots. I haven't told you about one of them yet.
Sure.
What's that all about?
Yeah, you know what, I mean, it's like, I tell you what, I'd tell you, I'd hit millions of okay shots. And I'm okay with that.
I think I've hit millions of great ones.
I bet you
know what I mean, though? It's like okay ones, of course, but...
No, but I mean, I'm good with okay ones. I don't have to be... It's not about great shots to me. It's about functional shots.
Which is important, yeah.
You know, and it's like, even if I hit a bad one, I'm okay hitting bad ones. And like, I'm just hoping if I hit a bad one, I get sort of where I can go hit it again.
Yeah.
And then like, oh good, I get to hit it again. Yeah. So that reframing positive.
Yeah. Oh good, I get to hit it again.
See my point?
It's amazing, yeah.
Like if you can, and I know I'm not trying to like be a shrink here, but I've done it a long time, and if you can reframe the bad into something that's okay.
Be your own best caddy.
Amen, man.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I get to hit, that's terrible, but I get to hit it again, let's go. You
sound very similar to someone I know who played golf and was really successful, Champions Tour and Main Tour, won on tour. And he talks the same way, like Dean Wilson.
Oh, Dino's an old friend. We're buddies.
The same way.
Yeah, well, he was on the same team as Wiersy.
Yeah,
BYU.
Yeah, he talks exactly the same way, and he says that about Weir as well. And it's the same lesson.
Well, you know, it's you look at it like one we're blessed to play. You know what was awesome? Nick Dunlap winning.
Yeah.
Did you hear him say it's a privilege to be under that kind of pressure?
Yeah,
it was the coolest thing I'd heard, because I'm like, man, he's right.
Yeah.
What a privilege to be under that kind of pressure.
Because you're in the situation where you can win.
You've put yourself there. That's why you work so hard to be there. Like, can you imagine Michael Jordan going, I really don't want to take this shot. Who wants this shot? Scotty, you want this shot? Yeah. No, he's like, I want to shoot this.
Yeah.
I may miss, but I think I'm going to make it.
Yeah. Because you have a choice to think however you want to think.
Right. You know, so this lesson, sorry, turned into more of a mental lesson.
Maybe I drove it there, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Simple stuff.
Why shouldn't it be? It's a stupid game with a stick.
Exactly.
Have you seen Robin Williams talk about it?
Yeah, I have, yeah. Awesome. So there you have it, guys. I told you the whole reasons why I wanted to come here, and it even surprised me. This is one of the game's best.
Thanks,
I've followed him for a long time. Thank you very much
for that.
Great
to be with you.
If you want to check everything out, Tour Striker, down there in the description. Get after that. I'm going to put all the links to Martin's socials. Maybe you can get here and come to one of his golf schools, and I think it will be as eye-opening to you guys as that was to me. Don't make the game so tough. Plenty of quotes for the quote list. I like that.
There you go.
We're going to single them all out in this. See if you can name in the comments how many quotes you got on that quote list.
That's funny, dude.
Top man. Cheers, mate.